Doomsday. We've all thought about it. How could the world possibly end? Maybe it'll be nuclear annihilation. Maybe it'll be the war between heaven and hell or climate change. We've all thought about it at some point or another. But some people take it a little more seriously than others. Some people start to prepare for the apocalypse, like a group of cultists in the year 1654. This is the story of the Kelpius Cave. A German priest and mystic named Johannes Kelpius settled this small area by Wissahickon Creek. Him and his followers had crossed the Atlantic, about 40 strong. In the mid-17th century, Europe was wrecked by religious wars. This would be known as the 30 Years' War, and the Holy Roman Empire, known today as Germany, would be affected deeply. It was after this war that the Lutheran Church would rise, and so would Johannes Kelpius. Johannes Kelpius had several priests follow him to this small creek. They had interpreted the Bible's book of Revelations as saying that the world would end that year, even though it's stated in the Bible that no one is supposed to know when the world will end, but that hasn't stopped people from guessing. The hermits of Wissahickon, as they were called, would dance, make music, and practice medicine deep in the wilderness. They would construct a place for prayer and a small observatory to watch the stars. When the end of the world never came, the monks didn't fret. They knew exactly what to do with themselves. See, they made music, art, studied the stars. They were doctors and lawyers, so they began to help the local people. Kelpius named his followers the Chapter of Perfection, and there was a reason why he did so. They were all university educated. They were lawyers, doctors, and astronomers. However, the name Chapter of Perfection didn't come from Kelpius. However, it came from their original leader, Zimmerman, who was a priest that died before they could even leave Europe in 1694. In 1708, Johannes Kelpius, much to his dismay, would die of tuberculosis. See, he believed that he would go directly to heaven, completely skipping the death process. But after that, his group of mystics and priests disbanded. They moved on to other things. They were doctors, artists, lawyers, so they moved on to help the local community. In a way, their doomsday did come. Their world did end, their old world. And by them coming to the new world, they found a new life. The buildings that were constructed by the Wissahickon hermits would eventually collapse. The old cave used to have a fireplace and chimney, but were vandalized and removed in the 1940s. The purpose of the cave itself has been debated for decades. Some say the cave is just a spring house. However, the presence of the chimney would prove otherwise. Either way, a lot used to be here, and America's first doomsday cult is not something that should be forgotten. The obelisk that stands outside the cave was placed there in 1961. It was placed there by a mystical brotherhood that spans the entire world, known as the Rosicrucians. It was a movement that started in the 17th century that claims to have mystical knowledge that goes all the way back to ancient Egypt. They claim that the Chapter of Perfection were the very first Rosicrucians in America. The Cave of Kelpius is a mystical but important part of Pennsylvania's cultural history. Just outside of Pittsburgh, this small cave, and all the people that were involved in its creation, will never be forgotten.
Turn a choice to decision. Think this world could be different if the world would just stop and listen. Not to poets, like coaches, put that voice in your head. Some people happy they landowners when they're living in sheds. Some people live like stockbrokers but live alone without friends. For my ideas tear apart, I curse the world from my room. Why should I reach for the stars when I get high to the moon? Am I speaking too soon? My mind's defying my age. I fear no man on this earth, but I'm afraid of the stage. And people locked in a cage would hear my words and just laugh. Theoretically, my enemies, the perspective I have. If God shows wrath, can the devil be kind? I believe that choice sets a future, leave my past here to die.
Life's got plans, we've been dying since birth. A simple man can have his claws on the earth.
Johannes Kelpius had several priests follow him to this small creek right here. Now, they had interpreted the Bible. Almost had it. I see you over there, Nick.
I'm recording. I don't know why, but we're recording.
Get a good shot of my knees.
Oh, I have a